Hello everyone. It is me, Nicole Ryan with Lana Solutions, your debt diva. I'm coming to you today to talk to you about taxes and tax debt elimination and different things you could be doing to prepare for this upcoming tax season. Now, believe it or not, right around October is when all the tax offices, tax professionals, enrolled agents and CPAs and what have you are gearing up and preparing for tax season. With that in mind, it led me to kind of talk about how you can also start to prepare your taxes for this up and coming tax season. A lot of times we don't want to think about it, but I think it's so important. And I've found it to be very important over the years. The better we prepare for our taxes, the better our tax season will be. So with that being said, I'm going to dive in today. So for those of you that are new to watching, I'm Nicole Ryan with Lana Solutions, and I assist people with debt elimination and credit education. So we're going to talk taxes, tax debt elimination, and everything taxes today. Number one thing I wanted to talk about today was exploring resolution programs. So I come across a lot of clients that, especially small businesses, that don't file their taxes because they're afraid of what they might owe. The other customer that I see is the customer that doesn't file their taxes because they're no longer getting the earned income credit or any type of deductions for some of their children that have outaged those programs. Don't stop staying on top of your taxes if you believe you're going to owe at the end at tax season. It is better to work with the IRS than it is to try to avoid any type of tax evasion. I ran a tax office for a few years, and I found that the IRS may appear to be behind the 8 ball, but I assure you, they have systems in place that have red flags that sooner or later, whether it's a year, 2 years, or even 3 years, they will address any type of red flags they come across when it deals with you not filing your taxes. So in this case, no news is not good news. So let's just start with some of the resolution programs that the IRS has available, should you be a candidate for someone who's just not in a position to be able to pay back that tax. Now, these are free nuggets, you guys. You can go to irs.gov, and they have a search engine where you can just type in forgiveness or payment plans, anything like that, where you can get more information on what they offer. Because another thing about taxes, the rules change and get adjusted every single year. There's some type of new tax law. And if you do your research, you'll see that there's millions of tax laws. And it's too much for anyone. That's why when you're filing taxes, it's something where you have to make sure you're going in, you're reading, you're understanding what you're doing. So I teach my customers and the people, even the people that I work with through nonprofits, to do the work and know your numbers. Because if you're filing taxes and you don't have a clue what you're filing, why you're filing it, that will not benefit anyone, especially you or your family. Make sure you know your numbers. If you watched any of my shows, I always talk about studying yourself approved so that you can ask the right questions and you can do the proper research to get programs that benefit you. So let's go back in. Point number one, I just want to talk about how to explore resolution programs. So Many people are unaware of the IRS programs, but there is a program the IRS offers. It's called an offer in compromise or an installment agreements. Now, this can significantly reduce your restructured tax debt. Working with tax professionals or an enrolled agent or someone who can work with the IRS to determine your eligibility. If you go to irs.gov and you type in offer in compromise, it will give you a full disclosure of this program, and it will also give you a quick tool to see if you qualify for it. If you're not savvy in that department, we definitely understand. And we have a lot of free resources here in Omaha, Nebraska. Did you know that you have a local IRS tax office right here downtown? Be sure to tap into the resources and the free online e-file tools and organizations that are here in Omaha, Nebraska that will even help you file your taxes for free. If you're not aware, you are more than welcome to reach out to Lana Solutions so we can lead and guide you in that direction. Offer in compromise is one of those programs where they offer a settlement on any of your back tax debt. They have a lot of stipulations around this program, one being that you have to be current and up to date on filing all of your taxes before you could even qualify for the plan. Another thing is that you do have to have a licensed tax professional or someone who can work with the IRS legally to present your case. Now, if it's something that you're doing on your own, that's fine. But if you do have someone that you either hire to help you or try to get assistance, I believe, depending on your ability to do it, they can also let a friend or a family member help you. But when it comes to actually filing this, you want to make sure you have the right information. So don't be afraid to go to the irs.gov and look up offer in compromise. That's a settlement offer that has been created for financial hardships. And I say that because a lot of times we don't know our options, and the first thing we do is panic. We get fearful, and we don't do anything. That's what you don't want to do. Connect with the source, who you think you owe, who you may owe, future state, and find out what your options are. Because one thing I found out, ignorance is fear. And again, when I say ignorance, that just means you don't know. Once you know your options, even as a Dale Carnegie alumni, one thing that they teach us when you're dealing with any kind of craziness in your life, whether it's leadership, financial issues, death in the family, bankruptcy, divorce, you have to pause. You have to calculate everything that's going on. And sometimes that means just write it down. All right, what am I fearful of? I'm fearful of filing my taxes because every year I file, I owe. Okay, you've come to the determination that you owe, and normally it's a large amount that you probably can't pay. Worst case scenario, you're not able to pay them. They take proper collection steps to get their funds back. Best case scenario, you can find out what options you have available to you and why you continue to owe every year instead of breaking even. That right there helps remove that fear which comes from ignorance, not knowing. Now, the wisdom behind that is going to produce joy and peace because it allows you to know and understand why you're owing this tax debt every single year and what moves you can make the next year or quarter to better prepare you. And sometimes that's just a tax assessment where you can make quarterly payments. And sometimes we don't like it, but you know what? It's better to make it quarterly in 4 payments than to wait until the tax season and have to pay it in a lump sum by April 15th of each year. It's happening every year. So why wouldn't you set yourself up like some of these larger corporations, Mr. and Mrs. Small Business Person, and prepare yourself for deductions and credits that are due to you, and learn and understand these tax principles and policies and rules and regulations to make it where you don't owe money. It reminds me of a story I heard last year. They were talking about how Kylie Jenner from the Kardashians bought a jet. And a lot of them mentioned she was trying to avoid taxes. Even if that is or isn't the case, you would have to say that that's pretty wise of her to even make a move like that. I'm sure the jet that was purchased is beneficial to some of the money moves she's having to make, and it abides within the rules and regulations of the tax laws. Now, why wouldn't we or anyone else who's dealing with a large tax debt try to do things that's going to benefit you on a yearly basis? That way, when you're doing, and when I say doing, I'm talking about doing the work to make sure you don't have any tax debt. And if you do, you have it set up where it's broken up quarterly. It's going to make your life so much easier. And this is the stuff I live and preach. Being a tax professional now for over a decade or more, I've been blessed to work with a ton of tax professionals, enrolled agents, CPAs, accountants, tax accountants in general. And one thing they will tell you when you sit down with them, whether it's for profit or nonprofit, do you know and understand what you're filing? We're gathering information. So you need to gather information. You don't have to be a certified tax professional to find out a few things that you can do to save money. All right, I'll get off my soapbox, but I'm just passionate about the preparation behind any type of money that we have coming in and going out, because it is going to make our life so much better as we manage. And if you don't have a tax budget, that's something you need to consider, because we need to make sure we have all our expenditures in line so we understand why we're being taxed the way we're being taxed. And that goes when you do your W-4 information for your W-2s that come every year. What are your deductions? Why do you have those deductions? And I can go on and on. Okay, I said I get off my soapbox. So one of the resolution programs is the Offer and Compromise. Go to irs.gov, search Offer and Compromise, and you'll get more details to see how you can qualify. That's for you that owes large tax debt, okay? Number 2, understand penalty abatement. Did you know that the IRS has programs for people facing hardships, and you've demonstrated over the years that you pay your taxes? Yes, they will actually take the time to reduce the penalties and fees just because of your good history and your good behavior with the IRS. So if you're not familiar with the penalty abatement and some of the other abatement programs that the IRS has at irs.gov, be sure to look into those. And if you need help, you can go to your local IRS right here in Omaha, Nebraska for free. Or you can go to irs.gov, or you can call 1-800-829-1040, just like the tax form, 1040. That should tell you how long I've been doing taxes. Who memorizes this stuff, right? All right, so that's number 2. That one's short and sweet. If you're facing any type of financial hardship around your taxes, be sure to reach out to the IRS so you can discuss an abatement or fill out one of the abatement forms. Number 3, and this is my favorite, and this is the one that I end up going into, even when I try not to go into it. prioritize your tax compliance. So what does that mean? Staying compliant with current tax obligations is crucial. By filing and paying taxes on time, you are more likely to be approved for resolution programs. Did you hear that? By actually taking the time to prepare, to know, to understand the preparation behind your taxes and the need that you have for the IRS, you're going to have better chances of resolution. Now, the IRS typically prioritizes helping taxpayers who are actively working towards compliance. So what does that mean? That means I have a tax debt. It's tens of thousands of dollars, and I'm just talking about one of the many cases that I handle. Ignoring this debt does not make things easy for you. When you ignore any type of debt, that is telling the creditor, the collection agency, the IRS, that you are trying to avoid paying your debt. And in a lot of cases, that's not even the truth. After working with so many consumers for so many years, I've found that you're not paying it because you're afraid, and you've put yourself in a position where you assume that if you ignore it, it might just disappear. Chances are, when you ignore it, things get worse. If you are compliant, and you have been, and you are trying to negotiate how to get yourself out of this financial hardship, chances are these creditors will work with you, including the IRS. They have your call notes, your call history, your letters. They have to document all of that information. So if they've sent out a collection letter and you haven't replied, they have a system where after 30 days, they send another letter. It's a second level of collections. And if you decide to ignore it, again, believe it or not, they'll send another letter. They normally give you about 90 days of chances. And with the IRS, a lot of times, because they have been behind the 8 ball, but they have recently hired, I believe, over 80 new positions to help with the collection process. I bet a lot of you are starting to get letters in the mail. Well, I know you are, because my office has been flooded with some of these new collection letters. So keep in mind, even if they haven't got to you right away, they're coming. So be compliant, and they will work with you. If you contact the IRS, whether it's through irs.gov, you can go on and create your own online account, where it will give you a breakdown of your detailed information that's owed and payment arrangements that are available to you. Did you know that? irs.gov. And if you don't have a tax professional you can talk to, you can walk into your local IRS. And if I'm not mistaken, because I don't want to send you running downtown, I truly believe it is still downtown. You can go right downtown. You can Google the IRS in Omaha, Nebraska, and it will give you the location. I'm looking at it right here, you guys. 1616 Capitol Avenue. And they even have their direct line. Those of you that have called the IRS and can't get through to them, I totally understand it. And now that tax season is kicking in, they get even busier. So your local office is 1-844-545-5640. And I'll give you a chance to get a pen. I'll give you that number again, and I'll shoot it over to see if we can get it posted. But our IRS here in Omaha, Nebraska is downtown off 1616 Capitol Avenue. And their direct number is 1-844-545-5640. 5640. I guess if I could tell you anything before we wrap up this show, don't be afraid of finances. So whether that is tax debt, collection debt, medical debt, insurance debt, utility debt, if you are compliant with trying to work with these entities, they will work with you. When they go to file lawsuits on these claims, they are looking at the history of the account, and chances are if you are not reaching out, and I'm saying this is the collector side of me talking now, coming from the collection industry, those are the cases that are going to be sent to legal right away because you're not working with us. You're not calling, you're not sending any letters, you're not communicating with us what's going on. So we have this blank canvas that has you, unfortunately, identified as the debtor with no communication. And then you have the collection agency or the tax collectors with a list of history notes that show over years and over at least 90 days, every month, they have sent out a letter because they have to be compliant with the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. So they've sent out letters letting you know, validating, hey, you owe this tax debt. If you disagree with this, now the IRS will give you, I believe, 30 days, just like the collection agencies. Please reply or do an appeal as to why you disagree with this. And do you know you can write your own letter and just tell them, hey, I disagree because I've been filing taxes on my own and I don't think it's accurate. That's been most of a lot of the people I see, is that they haven't got a second or third opinion. Don't be afraid to do that. There's a lot of tax offices, because they compete for your business, that they will do a second look for free. And did you know that you can go back the last 3 years and amend your taxes? What does that mean? That means you may have a tax professional that can find something you didn't take advantage of, like a tax deduction or a credit, and end up getting you a refund. I cannot tell you how many times I've been able to work with some of the tax gurus here in Omaha, Nebraska, that have been able to find my clients, even myself, more deductions and credits or refunds because we took the time to be compliant and try to work something out instead of running to, oh my gosh, another debt. Can't deal with it right now, can't pay. Don't let that be you. Pull out this, pull out the tools and the advice that you've been given, not only from Debt Diva show, but some of your local tax professionals here in Omaha, Nebraska, who will let you come in and will talk with you for free. Shout out to IT Tax and Business Solutions, Irene Tryon and her team. Another phenomenal place is Advanced Tax with Martine Corte, another trusted, safe tax professional you can confide in. And there are so many more, you guys. I can go on and on. I've been able to work with people in the tax industry for many years. Let's remove the fear. Let's, one, explore resolution programs with IRS. Go to irs.gov or your local IRS. Understand penalty abatement, because remember, with the abatement program, you may be able to get any type of penalty forgiven because of your good behavior with the IRS and staying compliant. You have that program like Offer and Compromise where you can settle as well. Prioritize, number 3, your tax compliance. And in trying to do something is what we'll call number 3, right? Preparing. It's time to prepare. November, December is coming up. I don't know when this will air, but it's coming up, and it's going to continue to come every year around October, November, December. Make sure you're preparing for your tax filing before April 15th of each year. And if you need help, you should know by now I'm here. Your girl, Nicole Ryan, on this show, Debt Diva with Lana Solutions. Until next time, you guys, let's get our taxes in order so we don't have any tax debt, okay? See ya.